Welcome to another session of Math Snacks.
Miss Wonderful, division of fractions is really hard. Lots of teachers have taught with don't ask why, just invert and multiply, but that doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense to me, Miss Glovely. You have any ideas of what we could try?
I guess we ought to just try a problem.
Okay, I'm game.
Okay.
Let me write division of fractions so I can remember what it is we're going to be working on today.
Okay. And how about if you just put a sample problem out for us to try?
You've got one in mind?
Well, I'll leave that to you.
Okay, how about 3½ divided by 3/8?
Wow.
That's a hard one.
That seems like that's going to be kind of difficult. And I think it would be helpful if we drew a picture of what that really looks like.
Okay.
So,
Here's one Hershey bar. Here's another Hershey bar. Can you tell I'm hungry?
yum.
Another Hershey bar and a half of another one. And I'm just going to dot it in so I remember that's half of the full.
Okay.
Okay, there's 3½.
Okay, if we're going to divide it in by 3/8, I would assume that means we need to break it into eighths, each of those bars.
That makes sense.
Okay.
You know, I'm wondering, does that mean we just need to, that's right? 4?
That's correct. That would be
Because
half of a whole.
Okay, I'm just wondering now how to think about, okay, we got 3½ and we want to divide it by 3/8, but what should we do next?
Well,
You think, I don't know. I was just wondering, this is hard for me to picture in my head what it looks like. I'm wondering if we could look at a different problem. I think I made it too hard.
okay. How about if we start with a whole number
Okay,
and divide it by a fraction?
okay. So let's do 4 divided by, let's do an easier fraction. How
Okay.
about a half?
Okay.
Because 4 divided by a half is 2.
Well, let's check with the picture form. If
Okay.
you would draw 4 whole candy bars again.
4 whole candy bars. Well, they're supposed to be the same.
Well, we can understand.
Okay.
This isn't completely accurate, but it's close enough.
And you said we have to divide them in halves?
Mm-hmm. So do you only have 2 pieces now? You have 2 pieces in each?
Oh, I have 2 pieces in each, but I don't have 2.
No. If I were going to take those candy bars and share them with friends, how many friends could have an equal portion right now?
Well, one person could have this one.
Okay.
2 people could have this. Third person gets this piece. The fourth person gets this piece. 5, 6, 7, 8. I could share with 8 people.
That's correct, because you have 8 whole pieces now that were half of the original full candy bar.
Okay.
So now
So my answer got bigger.
your answer actually got larger, and it was a
Wow.
division problem. Now, if we go from this idea back up here, we need groups of 3/8 to share with our friends. So this time, I might mark like this is one group of 3/8.
So this we could give to one person.
That's correct. And then this would be another group of 3/8.
So now we can feed 2 people.
That's right. And if we keep going with that pattern,
I would really want more than that amount of a candy bar, though.
me too, because I really like chocolate, and what with my diet and all, I haven't been eating very much of it, so
Man, I don't know that I could just have 3/8.
you couldn't just stop there?
I couldn't stop with 3/8 because I kind of like chocolate too.
Okay.
In fact, I like the king size candy bars. They're more my stuff. We can feed 6 people off of this. This is crazy. Why would you ever divide a candy bar? Maybe it's not a candy bar.
What do you suppose it might
I
be?
don't know.
What
I don't think it's a candy bar because
And-
nobody would share that amount of candy bar.
Really?
Because then we can feed 8 people off of 3 candy bars, and we still have a half left to go.
Oh, looky there. We're at 9, and now we have a problem because we're left with this one piece, and we know right now that our answer is the whole number 9, but I've got this one piece left.
It's an 1/8.
You think it's an eighth. You know what? A lot of people think that that would be an eighth because it was an eighth of the original. But now we've changed the size of our whole thing that we're feeding to 3/8. So let me ask you a real quick question. If we really could still play with this piece of the candy bar that isn't here on this
I'll
last
put
one.
dotted lines
Okay.
because it doesn't really exist.
It doesn't really exist.
Okay.
But if this was still here, how many more pieces would I have to put with this one that we still have not marked so that we could feed another whole person? How many would we have to have?
Well, we would have to have this. We have this one,
Uh-huh.
but we'd need this piece and this piece too.
So this piece that we have is 1
Out of 3.
out of 3. So it's 1/3
1/3
of the pieces that we would normally have to feed a whole person. So our answer to 3.5 divided by 3/8 is
9 1/3.
not. We could feed 9 1/3 person.
You know what else helps me think about this is when I think about what this really, I can read it 3.5 divided by 3/8 equals 9 1/3. But you know what? It makes more sense to me if I think about it in a different form. Like if I think about it as saying, when I'm looking at that, I'm really asking how many 3/8 are in 3.5.
Okay. And you could even make that even more real by putting it into a real world problem. Like
Well, it's not the candy bars. That's not real with 3/8.
that, yeah, because you aren't satisfied with only 3/8. So what if I had 3.5 yards of ribbon, and to make a hair bow, I needed 3/8 of the yard.
I'm going to draw me a ribbon,
Okay.
and it's 3.5 yards long.
It's 3.5 yards long. Okay. And then I want to know how many ribbons that are only 3/8.
You're cutting them into
I'm
3/8.
cutting them into 3/8 of a yard.
So basically, it could be kind of like that's a yard, and that's a yard, and that's a yard, and this is half a yard.
That would be good.
So then you're kind of dividing these into 8.
Yes, and I would be trying to find out how many pieces of ribbon. That would be a real world reason to divide fractions to begin with.
Or if you need to know how many costumes to get out of fabric, or all kinds of things like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Lots of different reasons to divide fractions.
I wonder why they always say invert and multiply.
I think that's another math snacks.
Okay, we'll wait till another time because I've been looking at these manipulatives and I'm really ready to play with them. Can I play with them next time?
I think that's what we'll do. And so long for now. This is Miss Glovely.
And Miss Wonderful, thank you for joining us for Math Snacks.